Hello, today we're going to do the permutation with the given array. So what permutation is, let's say we have an array of 1, 2, and 3. So we want to return any possible order of the array with the given elements. So we have 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 2, 1. So before we actually start coding, let's just think about how we want to achieve this. So if you look at this result arrays a little bit more carefully, so what you notice is that basically the permutation is the array of 1 plus the permutation of 2 and 3, and that basically translates to 1 plus the permutation of 2 and 3 is basically 2, 3 and 3 and 2, and all we have to do is just basically iterate 1, 2, and 3 for all these possible subset of the permutation. So we're going to be using the recursive method for this. So let's start with the base case, which will be a return array if array dot length is less than or equal to 1. We want to return the array that is being passed when the array length is less than or equal to 1. But be careful, be careful here that the final, I guess the return value is going to be a nested array. So it's going to be array of arrays. So our base should be an array of one array. Okay, so next we're going to do all perms is equal to an empty array. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take each element of the original array and we're going to iterate it, and we're going to shovel into all the possible permutations in the all perms array, so that at the end of the method we can just return all perms. Okay, so let's do iteration. So array that each do. Let's see. I'm gonna say pivot. So because every element 1, 2, and 3, I'm gonna pivot it, and I'm gonna take the rest of the element that does not include the pivot, and I'm gonna run the permutation, recursive permutations on that. So in order to do that, we actually need to duplicate an array so that we don't mutate the original array. So I'm going to say dup is equal to array.dub, and then I will. So here I should actually use each with index to make sure that I have an index number that I want to delete. I'm just going to say index. So here dup.delete add index. What this does is that when I'm working with the pivot 1, our dub will be array 2 and 3. So here, this is where we're going to call the recursive method. So perm is equal to permutations of the dub array, and that means when the perms is supposed to be an array of 2 arrays in our example, 2, 3, and 3 and 2. So here I can just iterate again perms that each do. I'm going to say perm, and then here I will just say the part is equal to the pivot plus the perm. Well, I'm going to have to again put the pivot into a bracket so that I can just I can just add to the perm array, because they are both arrays. So when we add arrays, they're just going to combine, like smash into it, and pivot's going to be the first element that whatever follows is going to be in the perm array. So we get that part, and then I'll shovel the part into the all array, and that's it. and finally I'll return all perms. So that looks good to me. Let us try that load. Let's actually do pry. So let's load permutations.rb. Let's do array 1, 2, 3. This is a simple example that we have. Okay, so let's do permutations of array. Cool. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 2, 1. That's exactly what we want. Let's try array is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll run the permutation. Cool. Let's make sure that this one actually has 24 of them. Yep, this one has 24. Okay. There are a lot of ways to solve the permutations problem, and I think this is a way to do it. This is pretty straightforward to think that okay, we can pivot every element in the array, and then we can run the subset of an array that does not include the pivot, and we can run the recursive permutations method on it. Similarly, we can also do in this way. So I'm going to say permutations to array. Here, what I'm going to do is instead of iterating every element in an array, I will only take the first element, which is 1, and I'll take the permutation, and the permutation I'll still do something with the permutations of the rest of the array 2 and 3. So basically the permutations of 2 and 3 is going to be 2, 3, and 3 and 2. Right? So also this one is also iterating the permutations that we got. So the 1 will be inserted in every single index of the permutations of subarray. So here we got 2 and 3, so I will insert 1 before 2, again 1 between 2 and 3, and 1 after 3. So we'll have first this, and then this where 1 is between it, and lastly this element where 1 is at the last of it. And then we're going to iterate it to the next one, and we have 3 and 2, and we're going to put 1 in the first element. I'm going to put 1 in the middle, and I'll finally put 1 at the end. So here, let's again, it's going to be the same base case where self return array if array that length is less than or equal to 1. Obviously, again, we're going to have to put the array into a bracket because it's going to be a nested bracket. So let's say the first is equal to array.first, which in this case, actually, let's do shift, because we want the array to be shifted when we take out the first element. And now the array is actually 2 and 3, so we can say the perms equal to permutations 2 of the array. And of course we have to set the perms is equal to an empty array. Cool. So let's iterate through perms after we spell the perms right. So perms.each do perm. And here I will iterate an range of the indices. So 0 to perms.length, the perm.length each do I'll say idx. Okay, so here we actually included the perm length because at the end of the iteration we want to put 1, the first element, after the last element of the perms though. So that's why we want to include the perm.length, because we want to insert the element to the last. So here I'll say the part is equal to perm from 0 to, but not including the index, plus the first, which we're going to put it in array because we're just appending in the array. And here finally perm index 2, but including the last index, which we can easily index as a -1. And after that, we're going to shovel that part into the all permutations array that we're going to collect. And that does the iteration part, and I'll return the perms, all perms there. So yeah, that looks good to me. Let's actually try that. So I'll exit, I'll try again. Let's see. Okay, load permutations.rb. We said array is equal to 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to call the permutations 2 of the array. Cool. We got 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, and all the way up to 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Let's try array is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Permutation. Cool. Let's make sure that this one count is 24. Yep, that is indeed correct. One caveat for the second permutation method is that it will mutate the array. So after the array, after the permutations method ran, we're going to be left with the array is equal to the last element of the original array that we passed on to. And one easy thing that we can do over here is that we can just duplicate the array. So dub is equal to array.dub, and basically wherever the array goes in, we can make it as a dub. I'll make it as a dub, but not here. Cool. And we're only working with the dub. Cool, let's try this. Okay, let's do pry again. Load permutations.rb. Array is equal to 1, 2, 3. And let's do permutations.2.array. Cool, being we have not indeed mutated the array. The array stays the same before and after the permutation 2 is ran. Okay, so this is the permutation. This was the permutation method. This is very interesting method that I learned, because like you really have to think about like different ways to solve this problem, and how you're gonna achieve it, like by iterating each element and pivoting it, and then appending in the rest of the array that we're gonna call recursively. So it was very fun. It was a bit challenging in the beginning, but then it was very fun, and I was very proud to solve this problem and own it. Yep. So I will come back with another video of the method that I find it very interesting, and yeah, and see you then.